Hi Aries, welcome to your reading for the month of November. This reading is for Aries Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you like the content that I share, please click the like and subscribe button down below. And Aries, let's see, I want to get into your astrology first. You have, I think most significantly for you, sitting directly across from you, you have Mercury and you have Mars in your house of partnership in Libra. This will be most relevant for Aries ascendants, but I've found sometimes it's even relevant just for the sun sign. So with Mars and Mercury, there is a lot of energy given into your partnerships at this time. Now these can show up as work partnerships, partnerships that you are contractually bound to. It doesn't have to be like an actual written contract though. And sometimes it is even in matters of love, like your romantic partnership that's not like you're, in marriage. And that's a lot of energy in that house. It's almost like it might feel bigger than Mars energy. It might feel almost like Pluto energy, which Pluto comes through to uproot what isn't sustainable, and it can do it kind of abruptly sometimes. And I mentioned Pluto because some cards correlating to Pluto came up in your spread. Let's get into your energy. You got the Ace of Pentacles. I loved this. It feels very contradictory maybe to the rest of your reading, but what this says to me is that you are looking for a new stable opportunity and you have your eye on the horizon. It's very optimistic. And this to me from your reading feels a little bit like that North Star. This is what you're looking towards. This is what you're trying to create. And it is something fresh and new. So whatever you're in right now, you might feel as though something needs a revamp. Now, it might not be something you currently have in place, whether that's a career, whether that's a partnership, maybe even apply it into a friendship. But this is looking out on the horizon for that new thing. Feels kind of like a Two of Wands or a Three of Wands energy even. Like wanting to create the new. And in your environment, you got the Three of Pentacles and the Three of Cups. I am not a reader who specifically does readings just for love, and I also do not always see the three cards as third-party situations, but in this instance, I did. And you can take that how it resonates, whether there's just too many people involved in a specific partnership in your life, maybe even like a work dynamic. But with it being the Cups and the Pentacles here, it feels like something has run its course, and it feels like a matter connected to your heart and the workspace. This could really resonate if you, let's say on one hand, like you identify as like a power couple dynamic in your life, right? Maybe you started a business with your partner, and this reading could apply in a situation like that. But this does feel as though your money, your finances, your day in, day out work is connected to this Three of Cups, to this energy of indulgence, which this card shows up as a lot. Energy of indulgence, which can be so many things, right? With the Three of Cups, a lot of times it is partying, it can be drinking, but it can even just be like a love addiction. Like it can be needing other people's approval, even like something strange like that might be tied into this. You showed up really strong in the center of your reading, and I love it. You showed up as the King of Wands. It's significant that it's a king and not a knight. It's significant that he's in the upright and not in the reverse. And I have this feeling that whoever you're dealing with, while Mars specifically is sitting across from you, and at the time that I'm doing this, it's in the Aries degree, while Mars is sitting across from you in your house of partnerships, I think it's going to be really hard for anyone else, maybe even to get a word in, maybe to be right, maybe to even just like on a, higher vibe note, like just to meet you toe to toe, just to have a conversation that like is actually productive and getting you where you want to go, and it being mutually beneficial for both parties. It might be hard to find that at this time. You might feel like you're the one that needs to like light the new path, that needs to initiate the conversation, that needs to initiate the breakup or the breakdown in a partnership even. Because your first card coming out was the Death card. And you got a couple loud major arcana cards here. And the Death card, this feels, especially with it being the first card out, like the start of this process, because the Death card represents that phoenix rising, right? But it happens as a process of first death and then rebirth. So something, even if this is, again, this feels partnership-y, something external to you but that you're tied into is dissolving, or it's trying to dissolve. It's almost like the energy is pulling towards that awareness that this thing hasn't been true, hasn't been authentic, something like that. And you could be dealing with an earth sign. Your next card out was the Knight of Pentacles, a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. And it came out right on top of your energy, which felt so significant, because going back to that message about how it might feel difficult to find people who are aligned with seeing things as you see them and being capable, right, King of Wands, of moving in the direction that you want to move in. It's significant that the person you're dealing with is showing up as a knight. Now, an advantage that the Knight of Pentacles has is that they're methodical in where they're going, right? There's nothing reckless, but they're often too slow. And so you are showing up in your full power here. You are showing up courageous and aligned with what you know hasn't been working and what you do want to work. Ace of Wands coming out next. And Aries, your next card out is the Six of Pentacles, and you showing up as the King of Wands is looking directly at it. This card showed up in a number of readings this month, and there is a strong through line in the readings for November. I highly suggest this month, if you don't already, checking out your sun, moon, and rising, because there could be something very significant in those readings. And I've been pointing out how this is a 5-year, 2021, when you break it down, and how we're all being encouraged, moved, pushed maybe into making change this year. So for some of us, we made changes early in the year, right? We felt compelled, felt right, we made changes in some area of our life, maybe multiple areas. Those who didn't make those changes earlier in the year, I'm sensing, especially from these readings, that they're feeling the pull or the push to actually step into the new and to make those changes. And there are some people, and I'm just saying this in case it resonates for someone, who made changes earlier in the year, and maybe a lot has actually changed between then and now, and there can be wake-up calls all over again. Oh wait, this wasn't the right path, or this is good, but I need to tweak it like this. However that applies, whether it's like your work, your routine, your relationships, there is a shifting taking place. And we all fall in one of those categories, right? Of those who made the changes early, those who are in the midst of making the change, which is what I'm picking up in this, or those who made changes and now it's time to tweak it and move into something else. And so, yeah, Pisces had kind of a similar message. I would check that one out, especially it's your 12th house. It feels really significant. But how that applies here, Six of Pentacles, King of Wands, there's a reassessment taking place of where you're giving your energy, Aries. And I think there's a lot to be celebrated with the fact that you are cardinal fire, that you do take initiative, that when you want something, you go after it. And that's incredibly valuable. You know, your card is the Emperor. It's not a small energy. It's not something that everyone's going to be able to meet you toe to toe on also. And I think there could be this awakening around that for you this month in November. I think there could be an awakening that where you've given your energy, maybe you need to scale back. Or maybe there's another project that you haven't been giving much and you want to invest more into there. However this relates to this Knight of Pentacles that's sitting above you, which is likely a love or business interest or both. After your card, you got the Temperance in the reverse. I would watch your delivery of your messages, Ace of Wands above it, because I think there is the capacity, especially when it comes to this relationship, to completely like burn something to the ground, almost to start a conversation that you definitely want to start, and to speak your truth, which I would never encourage anyone to suppress their truth. But I think when it comes to delivering the message, you don't have any swords cards out here. So maybe there's a need or a desire to like connect with your thoughts, maybe even connect in advance with like what you want to say. I'm not sure how that resonates, but throwing it out there. There might be a need to connect with what you want to say, connect your feelings and your thoughts before you go and deliver this message and light this flame. I think that's going to be really important for this, because I do sense I used that word dissolving earlier. There's a dissolving of some partnership here. The next card out's the Tower. And there's a way to escape. Escape is not the right word. To leave situations where we do it in the right way. It doesn't mean it's going to feel good, right? Even when we like exit something in the right way, it doesn't mean that it doesn't concern us or bother us or hurt. But there is a message here around like, make sure you don't just like burn the building down when you go, because you're in a really strong position as the King of Wands, and you do have the house of, the planet of war in your house of relationships. So whatever this situation is, these are really strong energies around allowing the Tower to fall, likely initiating the conversation, very likely speaking your truth. And even with the Temperance in the reverse, I want to point out that this is a protected energy. It is beautiful, right? It's the Archangel energy there. And so even in the reverse, this feels to me like watch your temper, right? But it's still suggesting that you're being guided forward. You're being guided towards whatever this North Star Ace of Pentacles is coming up in your energy. And your bottom row, I'm going to tell you all together, is the Tower, the Hanged Man reverse, and then you got the Four of Wands reverse with the Magician in reverse that came out. I'm going to hold these up. So the Tower, the Hanged Man reverse. Let's start here. I think there's been an awareness that something isn't working, and now it's finally about putting the foot on the gas. It's like you've been at some intersection where you definitely could have gone forward, but you've had your foot on the brake. I think your partner senses this too. And with the Hanged Man in the reverse, it's that green light, especially next to the Tower. Now with the Four of Wands and the Magician reverse together, clearly reiterating a partnership dynamic, something that once was likely happy, maybe stable, even though it's Wands energy instead of, I would use that word stable with Pentacles energy more, but likely something that was stable at one point, and maybe something that you saw as more like fun, connected to your passion in the past. And with the Magician in the reverse, there is a lack of investment going in here. You also could be growing in awareness that this connection is not in your highest good. Ace of Wands, Temperance reverse, and these two cards together underneath that. That there's something here that just like, it's like it went awry. You could have included into some information here with that Ace of Wands. It feels like in a practical way, however you're clued in. Let's see, bottom of the decks, you got the Justice card. Oh, this felt so relevant because just like I mentioned, the Death energy, the Tower energy, the Temperance reversed, those are all big energies moving through this reading, right? And those are coming up also in your environment and in the transits. That's that Pluto energy I was talking about with the Tower and the Death card. But with the Justice, it's reiterating that this is like it's meant to be. It's connected to universal laws. It's connected to contracts and something around like divine timing with contracts in your life. And it's likely something you invested a lot into. Eight of Pentacles underneath that. Yeah, man. Underneath that, you got the Queen of Cups and the Five of Wands, and these two go together. This is seeing somebody in a different light. This could have been something that at one point was obsessive. I sense it could have been you or them, but it was also tied into a lot of other people's energies. Likely something in the workplace there with that. Bottom of the other deck, you got the Knight of Cups. I love it because it feels, oh, and the Two of Cups underneath that. I love it. Yeah, this is connected to following after that Ace of Pentacles. So whatever the new is, this message is about not chasing the new from a hasty position, not just like bowing out. Not that I sense that anyone would do this listening to this, but like not about just like lighting the thing on fire and running away, right? Like there's none of that here. It's about closing something up, wrapping it up, and aligning with this Ace of Pentacles, right? I did want to pull after this because it felt kind of big. I wanted to pull a few moon cards for you. You got three that came out together. You got meditate and contemplate, the new moon in Pisces. You got balance, spirituality, and practicality, full moon in Pisces. And work through your fears, the new moon in Scorpio. It's interesting I pointed out with the Queen of Cups that obsessive energy, because one of the notes on this card is to relinquish obsession. That if there's something you've been like, okay, let's say this is something you've been thinking about for a long time, but you've been hesitant to like make the actual move, say the actual thing, I mean, it feels like a conversation that would lead into an argument, right? So in saying the thing, this is almost like reiterating, like it's gonna be fine, work through your fears around this. And then I noticed how these are all connected to the upper chakras, throat, third eye, and crown. And how there's something here about connecting to your higher guidance, allowing yourself to be led from in alignment with your higher self, connecting with your intuition actively, and then speaking your truth. It could even feel like speaking truth to power, however this is showing up for you. But really allowing it to come into the realm of existence from this more spiritual realm of the upper chakras and speaking it out loud. All right, Aries, that's a big message. I'm wishing you a beautiful month of November. If you like the content that I share, again, please click the like and subscribe down below.